the government did not want more money to go to the states. In our country, as you know, we have many governments. There is the union government, then all the state governments. I am not going into the lower level governments. Then there are certain constitutional bodies like the president, like the governors, election commission. So like that, there is an institution called the Finance Commission. It is appointed every 5 years to give an award, it's a recommendation to the president of how the revenues of the country are to be used over the next 5 years. So the 14th Finance Commission, of which I was fortunate to be a member, made this recommendation about, as you said, more money going to the states. But it was actually not more money. There are two parts to what goes to the states. One part is what is known as devolution. That is their right as per devolution formula, that this is their money. It is not union's money being sent to the states. It is a misconception. It is the country's money, and there is a division between this is for the states, this is for the union. So it is that devolution part that the 14th Finance Commission raised to about 41% from an earlier 31%. But at the same time, it reduced a different channel of which is called grants, that also goes to the states. These are Finance Commission grants, which we use very little of that. Apart from that, the union government on its own, from its kitty, also transfers money to the states, partly in the form of what is known as plan assistance, and partly through the different central government departments, let's say your education department, your health department, your say agriculture department, so on, and these are known as centrally sponsored schemes. So there is various channels through which money goes. Only one of these, that is the rights of the states, what is called devolution, that part was raised, but the second part was compressed, and the third part anyway it's up to the government of the union government to decide. In fact, because the devolution was raised in the last budget, the union government has cut off some of the centrally sponsored schemes which are really for state subjects. In some it has increased the state's contribution, reduced the union's contribution, and so on. So they made those adjustments. Yeah, you are absolutely right. There was a misconception when the commission gave its report that there is a huge increase in the allocation to the states. That was never our intention. The intention was to raise their share of what is known as untied money. That is, as I said, it is not the union's money going to them, it is the country's money, how much for states, how much for the union. That part was raised, and that is untied money. The states can use it in any way that they think, right, the state governments in their wisdom they can use. The other part, as a result, as I was trying to explain, we ourselves compressed what are known as Finance Commission grants, and the union government from its kitty, it is its right to give or not give to the states depending on its decisions, that also it has compressed. So net when you look at it from the state's point of view, you are quite right, there has not been much increase. However, a very important change, and the composition has changed. Now for a much larger part of their resources, the states can decide how to spend the money. Unlike before, where they had to follow the decisions on micromanaged from some department of agriculture or education or whatever in the union government, this is how we will spend money, these are the norms. In our diverse country, these are not the same. Conditions in Assam or Punjab are not the same as in Kerala. So states need flexibility, that's what they were demanding. Mr. Modi, our Prime Minister, then as Chief Minister of Gujarat, was demanding the same thing, that we should be the ones to decide how to spend the bulk of our money. So that's the change. What you really meant when you said geography of poverty, you meant the Bimaru states, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, and so on. actually you see quite a dramatic change has happened in these states already. It is not because of Finance Commission and last year and all that. In my view, if you go and see what is happening in Madhya Pradesh, it is now one of the most dynamic states. Again, a bit like Tamil Nadu, it's doing very well on both infrastructure spending, and therefore a lot of industry is coming there around Indore and so on. At the same time, it is one of our largest producers now of wheat, and it's doing very well on agriculture also. So that story is already changing. In my view, after this greater empowerment of the state governments, you will see this trend continue. Those states which have already started, I am talking of now your poverty belt, those which are already picking up will continue to pick up, and I would include in that Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar. I also hope Odisha, though the picture there is a little more mixed. The challenge will be more in I think the northeastern states, because there really their capacity is quite, governance capacity to deliver services to the public is quite weak compared to most other parts of the country. So there I think they need a special union. These are used to be called, still some people call them special category states. They need really special assistance from the union government. Some of it we have already provided for in the Finance Commission awards, but they need special nurturing because of their very special circumstances. These are mostly hilly states, they are border states, etc., etc. This revenue expenditure going up and capital expenditure going down is not directly one way or the other linked to the decentralization issue. Mind you, within revenue expenditure, I would make an important distinction between what we call development spending, that is on social and economic programs on the one hand, and other things like which is called committed expenditure on interest being paid on past debt or on administration, salaries, this and that. Now this part, जो debt है वो तो है, you have to pay the interest on that. So this is legacy from the past. On the administrative side, every time there is a pay commission in the union government, not that states have to do it, they can have their own pay commission, but the pressure is so much politically and socially that more or less all of them also adopt the union government recommendations. So it's always a shock, both in the union government as well as in the states. Now, if that committed expenditure part goes up, it squeezes the rest, that is development spending, spending on capital expense, so on. Now, in that also, politically, it is very difficult to cut back on things like subsidies and so on, which are things that are people want that kind of spending. So the residual thing then becomes capital, and that's what is getting squeezed, unfortunately.